All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a giant, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I mean, this book is a legend, right? It's sold millions, been around for almost 100 years, and people still swear by it. So, what's the secret sauce? What's this formula it promises? Let's get into it.
Okay, so this right here, this is the core of everything. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Just think about that for a second. It's such a huge, audacious promise. Hill is basically saying, forget your background, forget your luck. The only real thing holding you back is what you think and how strongly you believe. It's a pretty radical idea, and it's the launchpad for this whole philosophy.
So yeah, a world-changing promise. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. The reason this book became this global phenomenon is because it wasn't just, feel-good inspiration. Hill claimed he had a real, repeatable formula to turn thoughts into actual, tangible reality. So, let's look at the guy who came up with it.
Right, so this is where it gets really interesting. The author, Napoleon Hill, he wasn't just some guy in a room thinking deep thoughts. He was a journalist, and he went on this epic quest. Seriously, his entire mission was to decode success. He wanted to find that one golden thread, that thing that connected all the most successful people in the world.
And just look at the scale of this project. We're talking more than 500 of the most successful people of his time, studied over 20 years. That is a massive undertaking. And these weren't small-time players. These were the titans, people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Andrew Carnegie, who's actually the one who kicked this whole thing off. The credibility he was aiming for was just off the charts. So after all that research, what did he come up with? Well, Hill was convinced he hadn't just written a book. He believed he'd uncovered a universal law of success, almost like gravity. He boiled everything he learned down to these 13 core principles. A formula that he claimed anyone, and he really meant anyone, could use to achieve their own version of success.
Okay, the 13-step blueprint. Now, just listing all 13 can feel a little overwhelming, right? So to make this super clear and easy to grasp, we're going to chunk them into 3 main phases. Think of it like this. Phase 1 is all about getting your mind right. Phase 2 is about creating the plan. And Phase 3 is taking massive action. So let's jump into that first phase, the mindset.
All right, Phase 1, the mindset. This is all internal work. It all kicks off with desire. And Hill is very clear. This isn't some fuzzy, I'd kind of like this sort of wish. No, he calls it a white-hot obsession with a super specific goal. Then comes faith, this deep, unshakable belief that you will get there. And how do you build that faith? Through auto-suggestion. You're basically programming your own subconscious mind, telling it what you want over and over, until it starts guiding everything you do almost automatically.
Okay, so you've got the mindset on lock. Now what? You build the plan. Phase 2. This isn't about knowing everything. It's about acquiring specialized knowledge, focusing only on what you truly need to know for your goal. Then, you fire up your imagination to turn that knowledge into creative plans. Next, organized planning. This is where you make it a concrete, step-by-step roadmap. But here's the absolute key. Decision. Hill hammered this point home. Successful people decide fast. They don't hesitate, because indecision, it's the #1 killer of dreams.
And finally, Phase 3, action. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's about pure persistence, the sheer grit to just keep going, especially when it gets tough and everybody else would have already quit. But here's the really cool part. You don't have to be a lone wolf. Hill introduced this amazing concept of the mastermind. It's all about surrounding yourself with a tribe of smart, supportive people who are on your team. It's a real game changer, and it shows that success is never just about you. It's a team sport.
Okay, so we have to ask the question, right? This book was written in the 1930s. How well does it actually hold up today? Is this philosophy truly timeless? Or is it, well, kind of outdated? Let's get real about it.
So let's break it down. On one hand, the reason it's a classic is because its core ideas, that mindset is key and that you have to marry belief with action, that stuff is universal. That's why it's still so popular. But let's be honest about where it shows its age. A lot of critics find it repetitive, and it's definitely more of a why-to than a how-to. It's philosophy, not a step-by-step manual. And then there's some ideas that, well, they feel a little weird today. The whole sex transmutation principle, this idea of redirecting primal energy into your work,
Yeah, that one definitely raises some eyebrows now.
So after all that, let's bring it all home. After looking at the principles, the history, the good, and the maybe a little weird, what's the final takeaway? What does Think and Grow Rich really mean for you right now, today?
For me, this quote just nails it. Set your mind on a definite goal and observe how quickly the world stands aside to let you pass. See, it's not about magic or just wishing for things to happen. It's about the raw power of focus. It's about what happens when you have crystal clear clarity on one single thing you want. When you have that kind of focus, Hill says, things just start to move out of your way. You generate your own momentum.
So here's the bottom line. Despite the title, this book isn't really just about getting money. It's a blueprint for achieving, well, anything. It argues that real, lasting success, whether it's in business, in art, or in your personal life, it all comes from the same place. A powerful mindset, a belief that you absolutely cannot shake, and smart, relentless action. It is still, without a doubt, a must-read for any dreamer, doer, or entrepreneur out there.
And that really leaves us with one final big question for you. The whole book is built on this one powerful idea. Your mind is the architect. It holds the blueprint for your life. So the question is, if your mind is a blueprint, what are you going to build with it?